Hello and welcome to Crochet Moments episode. I haven't got a clue. So we're just going to float it somewhere around my head because I've left my phone all the way over there and I don't want to go and find it to find out what number I'm on.
Probably 59.
Episode 59, there you go. So this is my place where I come to talk about all things yarn. I like knitting, crochet and just generally collecting yarn, don't I?
But you're not allowed to collect anymore unless if you've used up all of the yarn in your stash.
Not going to happen.
You only used it with the ball decoration.
This is Emily, my youngest, and she is about to go upstairs to get ready for bed.
No!
So, you're going to say good night to everybody?
Good night. There, I said it.
That's it. Oh, you're taking Rosie up. Don't trip. Oh, that's that one out of the world. Oh gosh, so I live in Leicester with that little monster and my husband and my other big monster who is Katherine, who is 12. So yes, it's been 4 weeks since my last video. I'm very, very sorry. 4 weeks since my last confession. There we go. It is a bit of a confession today. I did go a little bit nuts in a yarn shop. Am I out of focus? Oh, I don't know. It's really weird because I can see myself on the TV screen behind the camera and it looks slightly fuzzy around my face. So if I am all fuzzy, that's good for you guys. So what has been happening with me? Well, I was supposed to be filming an episode 2 weeks ago, but I was fast asleep on the Friday evening that I normally film, and I wasn't well enough over the weekend to film. So that was so yes, I ended up temporarily in hospital. Nothing serious, I hope. She says. I had experienced some chest pain with some difficulty breathing, so they wanted to do some tests and things. I had a CT scan which came back clear. Everything serious, to my knowledge, has been ruled out. Obviously, given the current state of the NHS, it wasn't the greatest of experiences for me, but I feel much better now. So that's the most important thing, really, isn't it? So, yes. But you know, so all clouds have a silver lining and all that. That weekend, I got to just sit, relax and craft. So I do have 2 finished objects, but I can only show one of them. So I have finished the test knit that I said I was working on for Nicola of LME Designs. I'm waiting to hear when that is going to be released. I do need to get some photography done for that. I do owe her some photos. So we're out for the day tomorrow. So maybe I'll take it with me and see if I can get some beautiful outside shots of it. But I also finished my advent scarf, which is ridiculously long. I haven't sewn in all of the ends. So some of the ends have been woven in. Some of them I'd done magic knots, so I was really naughty and I just snipped them. But oh yes, I've got the start and the end to do. So this was the end of it. So I've worked, I think I've probably done about this much since I last showed it. So it's all done. It's all finished. So I think that makes 3 finished objects for this year so far. Let's have a look at my list. Yes, 3. So yes, and hopefully the finishes will start flying in as I spend more time. Well, I say spend more time. I have the same amount of time, but yeah, so there it is. I'm very excited about this. So this is knit, and I used the Rosie's Moments 12 Days of Christmas Advent that I bought for 2022 Christmas. I am still miles away from finishing my 2021 Advent shawl. I think I've sort of got my rotation sorted out for March already, so I think it is down to be worked on later on in March. Yes, later on in March. So you never know, I might get this, that will get shown at a later date. Maybe not the next episode, but certainly the next one of that. I've just spotted a little note I've made for myself. June the 1st, blanket along starts. So that, I might as well talk about that while it's come up. For the last couple of years I have done a make along that runs from the 1st of July until, I believe, the 1st of September. Yes. So in those months, I think it's about 3 months, I basically run a blanket along. That's what I've called it. And basically I'll invite everybody who is a subscriber of my channel to take part. So all you need to do is work on those blankets. That you can have a new start, you can work on a long time whip, get some finished stuff. You don't have to finish it, as long as you've made progress and you've shared your photos with me using the Instagram hashtag, which I will create closer to the time. There'll be a prize at the end of it, which I haven't decided what it is yet. Last year was the kit, the Starcraft special kit for the Faith crochet along. I don't know what blanket to aim for this time. I don't know whether I want to get a kit or just get a selection of yarns to put together for a blanket. I haven't decided that yet, so we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, this is my Advent blanket, and I have been wearing it sort of folded in half like that, and then I just sort of loop it through. Da, 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 da. Comme ça. Like that. There we are. And it's been getting lots of comments from my colleagues at work. They love it, although they think it's a little bit crazy with the colours. And I probably would agree with them, but I don't care. I love the colours. They may not go well, they don't sort of meld well into each other, but I think they look great. So here it is, and it's ever so cosy. Obviously it is sock yarn. It is 70-30, or was it 75-25? It's probably 75-25. I can't remember. But the pattern is the pattern that came with the Advent calendar. So it is just a, let's get the right way around. It is garter and this lovely sort of little lace panel in between. And I didn't do just one set of each repeat and then change colour. I just went until I ran out of the mini. So that's probably why it's a little bit long. And it did feel like it went on forever and ever and ever and ever. So, but I love it. It's beautiful. It's this, I didn't count how many rows are in this, but I would say, there was 50 something rows in a repeat. See, 12 mini skeins. So there's at least 600 rows there. But I love that. I will get round to sewing in the ends and try and maybe get some better photos so I can do that. So that is all of my finished objects that I can talk about. Whew, and breathe. Let's get on to whips. I'm just trying to remember what Katherine has done with her whip. I was going to show that first, but I don't know what she's done with it. So Katherine is knitting again, by the way. What has she done with it? I don't know. Not as intently as she was when she first picked it up, but she bought herself a ball of the Stylecraft Cabaret yarn while we were at a yarn shop sale using her pocket money. I bought more than one ball of yarn when I went there. Oops. But I will show that later, even though I'm supposed to be on a yarn diet. So yeah, so what shall I start? Let's show my socks first. Ooh. Well, they're not my socks, they're Emily's socks. So this is in my Bellica Yarns bag. This is my out and about sock bag. So I will, and quite often will walk along with this over my arm and by knitting in my hands. Oops. So I am making a pair of socks for Emily this time. She picked the yarn and I'm just doing, these are just my vanilla socks for out and about. They are great for car knitting because I can't knit and look at my hands when I'm in the car. It has to be something that I can not have to keep looking down on, because I don't know about how some people do their car knitting. I get a little bit motion sickness or travel sickness, whatever you want to call it, if I'm not looking out the window as we're driving along. So it is just a vanilla sock, and I am having a go with my higher flyers. So there they are. So these are 2.25s. Where's my packet? Yes, these are 2.25s. Here's a pack. So as you can see, they were quite expensive. £15.50 for a set of needles. I think that's the most I've ever spent. But I've been wanting to give them a go for a while. So I thought, let's have them and give them a whirl. So that's what I've done. And they take a little bit of getting used to because I normally use DPNs, but I'm enjoying them. I do need to work on the sides, so I'm getting a little bit of a ladder. It's not terribly noticeable. It's only really noticeable when I hold it up and stretch it out like that. But as you can see, this yarn is sparkly because Emily likes the sparkles. Just pull myself a little bit of, so there we go. So I do for Emily, is it 10 rows or 15? I can't remember. It's about 10 rows of, this is a 2x2 rib. I tend to favour the 2x2 rib, just because I find 1x1 really tedious. There's the sock so far. I'm probably only about 2 or 3 colour stripes away from the heel. I don't want to make them too long for her because it's half the time they're around her ankles anyway. I have cast on a couple more stitches than I normally do for her because she is getting bigger. So but I love this yarn. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature Sparkle 4-ply. Now, I didn't get the gingerbread Christmas colourway that was 2022's Christmas colourway because I didn't really like it. But I actually have 2 balls of this. It's really pretty. It's Vintage Tinsel and it is obviously 4-ply, so it's a fingering weight yarn, 75% wool, 23% nylon and 2% polyester. It is made in Yorkshire, hence the West Yorkshire spinners. There's 400 meters to a 100 gram ball. So this is a commercial yarn. Obviously I do buy a lot of hand dyed sock yarns as well. This is out of all the commercials that I've used so far, which has, I've used 2 or 3 brands now, so out of the brands that I've used so far, this is my favourite of commercially available yarn. Obviously my favourite sock yarn is Attic Spin Dye. I do have a sizable collection growing of Attic Spin Dye sock yarn, which has been added to because obviously subscriptions. So let's pop those back in there. So I would normally use a needle cozy. This is the one I got from Pickled Lily in October at Bakewell yarn show, which I'm definitely going to again this year. I think they've announced the dates, so I think it's the 13th, 14th of October. I saw the announcement on Instagram the other day, so I'm very excited about that. I love Bakewell, and Simon doesn't complain about going to Bakewell because it's only an hour away, and he always buys a Bakewell tart when we're there. So that's project. Now I can't remember if I've worked on this project. Oh, Mr. Needle. Since I last filmed. It's a mystery to me because I think I have seen this. I think it has been shown, yes. Yes, it has. So I don't need to show you this again. I was going to show you my Metamorphosis wrap, but I've made no progress on it since my last video. But I love the bag. This is an Emma ball bag. And it's just really pretty. So that's one less thing to do, isn't it? Right, okay, so let's show a Knitwit because it's a little tiny bag. This is a bag that was gifted to me for my birthday last year. So I received this about this time last year from one of my subscribers who lives in Germany. Very excited when it arrived. I love this bag so much. It was this bag, wasn't it? Oh gosh, I'm starting to doubt my memories now. I'm sure it was this bag. So it's got lovely drawstring and it's got the most amazing lining in here. Let's get everything out so I can show you the lining. It's meow and purr and cool cats. I love this bag so much. I'm sure this is the one I got from Silka. Oh gosh, I'm sure this is the one I got from Silka because the other one that I've got that has cats on, I'm sure was a gift from Simon for a previous Christmas, and that's an Amelia X Joy bag. So yes, I think this one is Silka. Gosh. Oh, I'm starting to have senior moments. So that's the bag anyway, the really pretty bag. And this, I have done some work on Katherine's vintage top that I'm knitting for her, which is very pretty. It's starting to take shape. I didn't get as much done on this as I'd hoped. And that is because it's quite an involved pattern. It's not something I can get lots and lots of rows done while watching TV. So here is my progress so far. So where that Mad Hatter Progress Keeper is where I was the last time you saw this. So I have got a good chunk done. I've got about, how many repeats? I've got about 4 repeats left to do until I start decreasing for the armhole on that. So this is one of the attempts that I've decided to give myself a chance at doing with lace, and so far so good. It's not perfect, there are 1 or 2 mistakes in there, but they're not noticeable. That's the important thing. So I am going to move this stitch marker up now so that I know where I was when I last showed it. Next time I work on it, next time it comes up. I don't think I'm working on this month. I'll run through that later maybe. We'll see how long I go on for this, because I've got so many things to show. So this is knit using the King Cole Drifter 4-ply. Now I absolutely adore the Drifter yarn. It's amazing. I've used the 4-ply and the DK now. I just need to find some Aran and a pattern to do use for it to complete, because I don't think they do it in a chunky, but it's so soft. It's a 69% acrylic, 25% cotton and 6% wool. There are 400 meters to a 100 gram ball. So I do have 3 balls of this, but I can only fit 2 in my little bag that I'm using. So the other ball is up on my stash shelf. So this is the colourway Orchid. And it's just so pretty. So beautiful. They look very different side by side, but they are the same. They are the same, it's just, well, that's the way they wind, because it's obviously a colour changing yarn. So if you go down a layer on this one, you'll see very similar colours. So yeah, that's and I'm knitting these on my cubics. I love my cubics. These are quite possibly my new favourite needles. I would love all of my projects to be on cubics, but I have needles, so I can't justify spending the money on more needles when I don't really need them. Yeah, that works, doesn't it? I don't really need yarn, but I still buy it. But yeah, so and needles are easier to hide. I'm so naughty. But yes, no, I've been using this little notebook to keep track, and this is, I got it in a Christmas Eve bag, I think I bought. So yeah, so I've just been, so obviously I used it to keep a track of my Advent rows, and now I'm keeping it a track of that. So there's that project. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Oh, it's better, I needed a drink. So let's show a couple of my crochet whips that I've been working on. Let's start with my Abigail dress that I'm making for Katherine. So this is in a really nice tote I bought myself from Chatsworth House. It's got their gates. It's really nice, and it's a really well made bag. It's very sturdy. And in here I have what is becoming a dress. So This is the Abigail dress, and it is designed by, I can never remember her name. So it's the Abigail fairy dress, and it is by Christelle Riley Watts. And here is a picture of what it looks like. So this is designed for yarns similar to like the Shape Use Whirls. So I'll show you what I'm using. So that's the colourway for the one I am using. This is the colourway that Emily chose for her dress, and it is Yarn Art Flower Cakes. So it's very, very similar makeup to a Shape Use Whirl, but they're half the price. I can't remember where. Oh, I've still got the receipt in here. So I bought these from Our Little Craft Co. There's the details. And they're less than £10 each, basically. So you get 250 grams of fingering weight yarn. So there's 1,000 meters per cake, and it's a really nice gradual color change as well. So it changed color strand by strand. So when the color change comes in, one will change, and then eventually you'll be into the next color as a solid color. So I bought 2 cakes for Emily's because, looking at the description in the dress, I'll need slightly more than 1 cake. However, I don't know how much of a second cake I'm going to need, so I'm thinking I might start with just 1 cake and work the opposite colours way from whichever way I start for that one. That is very confusing. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so here is Katherine's dress. Oh, that's the back. So far she's tried it on, and it's at her hips at the moment, but I love how it's draping. I mean, it's a little bit creased because it's been sat in the bag for a couple of days. I've been working on this week. So most of this section has been done just this week. I think I was about here when I picked this up this week. So I've done all of that. And this is down to be picked up again tomorrow. So I'll be working on this again over the weekend. So I started off doing, I alternated the cakes of yarn every 2 rows. So every 2 rows I would do 1 row from the second cake. And as I got down to the skirt, I started to worry that might prove a bit of a mistake because Katherine's quite tall and she wouldn't wear something that was very short. So she would prefer it to be knee length. So I'm going to have to use as much of the yarn as I can. So I have changed my methods. So I'm, oh dear, I'm going to sneeze. Oh dear, excuse me. So I've had to ball these up because the cakes were starting to collapse on themselves. So I am doing all of the yarn for 1 colour change and then moving to the next ball. I think, is this a 2 and a 2 or a 1 and a 1? I think I've just moved on to the 1 and so 3 and a 1, sorry. So I'm at the stage, I don't know how easy it would be to see here. So I've got 1 strand left of this light purple that is here in the dress, and 3, I don't know if anyone heard that, but that was the washing machine. and 3 strands of the slightly darker purple, which is obviously what's becoming more obvious in the dress now. I'm really enjoying this, and one of the things that I am enjoying is there's no counting. If you're a person who really is obsessive with counting and making sure that you have all of the stitches correct and in a row, there are no stitch counts on this at all. So you start with a foundation chain for however long you want for it to sit around the neck and how you want it to sit around the shoulders. And then you do this lovely section here. Again, you don't need the counts. They do have a what to do when you get to around to the back when you're joining, to allow for if there's there's a gap or something. And then as you get down to the skirt where you start to divide, it just says work out how many points you want. The more points, the more twirly the dress will be, and evenly distribute them, which is what I've done. If I remember rightly, Katherine, I got 10 points, I think I did. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh no, 8. I decided to go for 8 for Katherine. And I'm kind of glad, because I'm at the stage now. It's just straight double crochets. Trebles UK terms, double crochets US terms. And the only variation is when you skip the stitches for here and you do the extra stitches for here. And because it's getting to quite a circumference now, it's so this is the circumference, so it's essentially like a 8-point star blanket now, and it's getting a little bit boring. So I want to get it done, but I've promised Emily that as soon as this is done, hers is next on the hook. So oh, I'm a glutton for punishment, but I'm really enjoying this. I can't remember if this was a free or paid for pattern. All the information and links for the patterns that I talk about are in the description box. It's either below or at the side of your screen, depending on what you're watching me on, apparently. So that's that. So most of these whips can go upstairs once I've shown them. So my other crochet project that I have yet to show. Oh, I think the other squares are in the other bag. Yes, they are. Oh dear. Right, okay. Yes, they are. So I'm keeping most of the squares. This is my piece of cake MCAL, designed by Toni Lipsey, featured in the Crochet Now magazine. So this is every month I do 4 squares. So, oh dear, this has been a bit of a disaster. I ran out of one of my colours, and I still had a square to go. Let's pull all of these out, because I don't know how much of these you would have seen. How many of these? I think you've seen the granny square, the granny stitch ones. Okay, so basically, I ran out of this colour. That's my Tunisian simple stitch square. I ran out of that colour. When I was about 5 rows, 1, 2, yes, when I was about 5 rows away from the end of a square, and I couldn't bear to have done all of the time that it took to get to this point. I was so sure I had enough to finish this square. But I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to finish it off in this colour. I have none of this, and this is a Deramores yarn, which you can't buy anymore. So I just thought, I didn't know what to do. So I just thought I'm just going to grab some colour out of my stash and use that, because I've just finished part 11 and I strongly suspect that part 12 will be the putting them together and putting a border around it. Strongly suspect that is what March's issue will do. So this is one of the stitches. I cannot remember the names of the stitches, but I really liked that stitch. Whatever it was, I think it might have been a bead stitch. Not bead stitch. Mini bead? I can't remember now. Oh, I wish I could remember, because I really like that pattern. And what's that one? Oh, I've got so many here. Right, you've definitely seen the granny stitch ones, so I'm going to put those to one side. Those are definitely new. Star stitch? Have you seen the star stitch one? I can't remember, but here it is. I love the star stitch. I did it for the very first time when I was still fairly new to crochet. I did one of the Helen, oh, what's her surname? I've forgotten her surname. Crystals and Crochet anyway. So Helen from Crystals and Crochet. She has a number of free patterns on her website for some beautiful blankets, and star stitch was one of the stitches that went all the way around at the time that the blanket was already double bed sized. So that was fun. Oh, so then we've got, yeah, so we've got a full bead stitch there. I'm not sure, I can't remember what this one was called, but I quite liked that stitch as well. I really felt that I learned a lot with that one. And then the most recent part was lace. So this was quite hard to handle actually, because it still is, because some of these are really dense fabrics and then these are really loose. So I'm really wondering how these are going to go together. I really am, because these 4 lacy squares that I have here are going to sit very differently with most, if not all, of the other squares in the design. I trust you, Toni. I trust you. I trust you. But yeah, so we've got these 2 patterns. Is that one and that one? Yep. So these did work up really quickly. I think it was about an hour on each square, whereas some of those were a couple of hours work, because bead stitches and things, I love the look of them, but they're fiddly. So I better put these in my wee woolly wonderful bag to keep together. Yeah, so I don't know if part 12 will be in more squares, or if it will be putting all of these squares that are in here together to form a blanket. And I'm really low. Oh, there's another square that needs to go in there too. That's another granny square stitch one. So yeah, so the yarns I'm using, this is just some random stash. It's just, I had no idea what that is. It's just something I picked up because it was the closest I had. Oh dear. I've got some Aldi double knit in grape and lavender. I've got quite a lot of this lavender left. So I've got 2 balls of this lavender left. And I have, is this really all the cream? Yes, because I had about 6 inches of cream left on the last square. So this is all the cream I have left in the house. Or at least this kind of cream. And there's a stitch marker stuck to it. Yes, in the house, this is the only cream double knit acrylic that I have. So if I need to any more, I will have to go and buy some more. Excuses, excuses. Oh, this is going to be a long one today, isn't it? Woo. So yeah, so this, if you have the Readly app, you can look at all of the parts for this crochet along if you wanted to have a go at doing that. And I can't remember how, it goes far enough back that if you wanted to have a go at any of the others, you could. And there are some beautiful ones. So the one before this one was the Enigma Cow, which was really pretty. I really enjoyed doing that one. And before that, I can't remember what it was called, but it was beautiful. And it was a Helen Shrimpton. There you go, I've remembered her name. Helen Shrimpton of Crystals and Crochet. It was designed by her, and it was squares. And the squares are really beautiful, really intricate. Lots of work, but very enjoyable. So yes, you can download and work on all of those if you want to. So I think I'm on my last 2 whips, and then I can do some incoming. Oh, I'm going to be editing this forever on Sunday morning. I won't have time tomorrow. I'll go over that on my plans at the end. So this is my Expression Fibre Arts mystery crochet along. This is going to be a mandala throw of some description, I believe. So every month a part of the pattern will be released and you will discover what is going on. Now, here is this. I don't know if I have a tension issue or if it's supposed to get this wavy at this stage. I'm going to avoid blocking it for now though, because that can be a disaster sometimes with these kinds of blankets. So I've done part 2, which is in this lovely mustard colour. So I am following as closely as possible to the suggested colours, but I've not bought the kits because the kits are in America, and if I buy anything from America, just the customs charge alone bringing it back over here will be extortionate. So I won't be doing that. But yes, so I quite enjoyed doing these petals. They're very easy to do. This is another pattern where it's a fairly straightforward design, and there's nothing too, at the moment, nothing too complicated. And the instructions do say that some of the colours will be reused later on in the design. So I'm looking forward to seeing when that happens. So the yarn I'm using, so this was for January's part. I am using the Women's Institute Homegrown yarn, which is, it's 100% wool, isn't it? Yes, 100% British wool. This is the plum, and in the ball it feels a little bit scratchy, but once it's absolutely fine to work with. It is not the softest, but I'm sure it'll wash quite well. We'll give it a rinse. It's really nice. I can't wait to see how this goes. So yeah, so the first month is plum. The second month is mustard. Oh, how many are you get 225 meters in a 100-gram ball. It's a DK weight, this one, and because they give you the colours in January, they gave the first, second and third colour. I bought this to go for the third colour. So the third colour's, I think it's a little lighter than this. It's like a teal colour. This is the closest I could find, and this is petrol. So when the next set of colours are released, I shall get on. These are from Hobbycraft. So Women's Institute is a Hobbycraft brand. So I will be getting onto their website and buying the next few colours. hopefully I won't be running out of anything. So this project is living in my Hello Weekend bag that I got from Whisk. Is it Whiskef? I don't know. But yes, so they kindly sent me a couple of bags to review, which I did a couple of episodes ago. Oh gosh, I rushed my dinner. Now I keep. Ooh. So anyway, they gave me a couple of bags to review. I do have a discount code. I cannot remember if it's still underneath this in my discount in my description box. I've got a frog in my throat, just bear with me. Oh, that's better. I think it's all the yarn and the fibres and everything. It's affecting my throat. So I think one more whip to show and then some naughty incoming. So this is the Expression Fibre Arts Mystery Knit Along. This will be a wrap. It's quite a wide wrap, so it's probably going to be more of a shawl. And I'm getting all tangled up in the yarn. Make sure I'm showing it the right way up. So I would say about somewhere between a third and halfway there for February. The March one, as far as I'm aware, has not been released. So this is some really lovely mosaic crochet. Let's hold it quite not crochet, knitting, mosaic knitting. It's really lovely. It's been, and the yarns are great. I'm working my stash. So it's not that bad that I bought. I'm working my stash. So again, I am trying to stay as close to the suggested colours as I can while diving in my stash of sock yarn. I have so much sock yarn. And so this is West Yorkshire Spinners, and it is Silent Night. So this was from a couple of years ago, their Christmas colourway, and it's so beautiful, so beautiful. Really, really hope that I have enough left over to use in something. I don't know how much I'm going to have left over. I don't know. Maybe some shorty socks. I might have enough for some shorty socks. The creamy colour is a Dinah's Home of Crafts yarn. So I have had this for quite a while and I'm pleased to finally be using it. I bought it as a mystery bag. I didn't know what colour was coming, and it's really, it's not Nameless. It's not Nameless. Nameless was some really beautiful yarn I used to make a pair of socks. No, this is called Last Petal. Why did I say it was Nameless? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. So it's Last Petal, and it's a 75 wool, 25 nylon, 425 meters for 100 grams, and it's so beautiful. It is such a lovely yarn, and I just love how it gets the little bits of colour coming through there. So in the colours suggested, it's just a plain cream, but I really think that those little pops of colour that come through work really well with the blue. So yeah, so the next colour I need to go stash diving for at some point over the weekend before the next part comes out, because that one is going to be, I think it's another blue, but it's going to be slightly lighter than this. I do have some, I think it's a Rosie's Moments yarn that would work for this next step. I'm just so desperate to use my stash because Simon's just always complaining about it. So, but yes, so incoming now. I think that's all of the whips that I've been working on that I can show you. Yes, I have a big bag of yarn. So I'm reusing a bag. That's all good, isn't it? I've probably mentioned before this absolutely wonderful yarn shop. It is called Knit Equip, and it was in based next as part of a children's farm, an alpaca farm that my girls loved visiting, and I loved visiting because I would take them to see the animals, they would get to say hello to the alpacas, and then I get to go shopping for yarn afterwards. But due to ill health of the owners, they decided to close both the alpaca farm and the yarn shop and sell up. Very sad about that. Very, very, very sad. It was a lovely place to visit. They had the most adorable little cafe, and with old-fashioned teapots. So when you ordered tea, it would come in old-fashioned teapots, and they didn't mind bringing an extra cup because Emily likes tea, but she doesn't like it enough to get her own teapots. So they'd give you an extra cup, so Katherine and Emily could share a little teapot, and it was just really, really nice. And everything there was home baked, and the yarn shop was fairly priced. They had a section for second-hand knitting patterns, second-hand needles, as well as the new stuff. They had a lovely sitting area where you could sit and knit or crochet, and obviously the animals were always a draw as well. So I was so sad. However, as part of their closing down sale, they did a 50% off everything. What knitter and crocheter in their right mind, would pass up 50% off everything? It isn't even like, oh, we're just going to take half off the stuff that's not very good quality. It was like everything. So they had some beautiful yarns. I don't think I bought any of the higher end stuff, mainly because some of the had alpaca in it. And alpaca makes my hands itch. I just can't work with it. I've tried. I've tried handling it for long enough to try and sort of like, but no. Even just thinking about it, my hand is tingling. It could just be completely all in my head. I don't come out in hives or anything like that, but there's a definite problem with me handling alpaca yarn. But let's move on to what I did buy. So they had some of this really lovely Stylecraft Life Chunky on sale. This is 75% acrylic, 25% wool. There's 148 meters on a 100 gram ball. Now is it down here? No, it's upstairs. My cardigan that I made, my chunky cardigan, was made out of Life with the nep in it. This is denim colour. I don't know if I want to make that cardigan again per se, but I do want to make myself a jumper or another cardigan using this yarn. So I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls of this Stylecraft Chunky Life, just because I think 6. So I bought 7 balls for the cardigan and ended up with a ball left over. So I don't know, we'll see. 6 balls should be enough to make something for me. So that's that. I basically tried to buy enough to do something if I decided to make something for myself. If I end up making something for one of the girls, then I just have extra left over for other projects. So also in the Starcraft section, I bought some of the Life 4-ply. I have used the Life DK as well. The, what was it called? It was the one from my hummingbird cardigan. I think it was that one. That was what it was called. So it's Starcraft Life. This is in the colourway Heather. It is a 4-ply weight yarn, 75% acrylic, 25% wool, 450 meters to 100 gram ball. And I bought 4 of these. Ta-da! So that's that. And then I move on to the King Cole. I think the rest of this is all King Cole. Yes, it is. Everything else is King Cole. So I quite like the King Cole brands as well. Obviously the Drifter. I've got the Bramble upstairs. I've got 3 balls of some gorgeous King Cole Bramble in like a really pinky, purpley sort of colour. I haven't yet found the perfect pattern for that. I will, but not yet. So this is the Island Beaches DK in the colourway Pink Coral. It is 70% acrylic, 30% polyamide, which is why it's so squishy soft. Oh, it's so squishy soft. It's, I'm like, I feel like I'm on drugs right now. Not that I know what that feels like, because I've never taken drugs, but this is how I feel. How I believe somebody who is getting high feels like. I'm just reliving the moment of shopping all this yarn. Oh my goodness. This is the... I swear I've not been drinking today. So yeah, so they do have an illustration of how this knits up. I don't know how that well. Oh, that actually shows quite well. So that's how it's sort of self-striping, but it's not an even stripe, so it's not something that necessarily you'd be able to match. But I bought 4 of these. And then I got some of just the beaches. Now I have used the beaches before. I made Emily's ballet wrap from the beaches yarn. In fact, it's on the back of the chair over there. So this is in the colourway Bondi Beach. Just look at those colours. And again, it's 255 metres, 70% acrylic, 30% polyamide. I don't know what the difference is between island beaches and just regular beaches, other than the different colours. So I bought 4 balls of this as well. Getting a lovely little mountain of yarn. And then lastly, I bought some cotton soft. I've used this yarn before. I actually had this yarn in one of the Crochet Society boxes when I used to subscribe to that, and discovered how much I loved the yarn. So I bought some. So it's a cotton soft DK. It's 100% cotton, 210 meters for 100 gram ball, and I bought 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. So that will be my yarn haul, yarn avalanche. That's my yarn haul. So I got all of that yarn for less than £50. And this stuff's not cheap. I mean, the cotton soft is about £3 or £4 per ball. These are about £4 or £5 per ball. The Starcraft stuff's about £5 a ball as well. So it's all. I was like watching her adding it up, and I thought, oh, I can't wait till you divide that by 2. Because I'd gone with a budget in mind of £50. So I was actually really good and was under budget. So there you go. I was under budget for once. So I've just got a little bit left to show you of my subscription yarn from Andy, so I need to find that now. I promise I'm nearly done. Ooh, let's turn that round. You don't want to see where I live. So in this lovely package, oh, I can smell the lavender, is all of my subscriptions plus a little extra. So I will start with the little sort of extras that you get with the subscriptions. So I get the Beatrix Potter and the Vintage Whimsy. Is it Vintage Whimsy? Subscription. So they have one that is obviously self-explanatory, Beatrix Potter themed, and I've absolutely loved every single colours in the same way as I enjoyed last year's Birds of the Year and the Alice in Wonderland. So we've got Beatrix Potter, The Tale of Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. So you get this lovely card. This is like an inspiration card, I think. And I've got a really cute hedgehog progress keeper there. And the Vintage Whimsy one is Fairy Bud. So there is the inspiration picture and there's the progress keeper. I've got a few of these angel fairies now. Because when you buy the yarn from Andy, especially from the shows, I don't know if he does it so much in the one packages that he packages to send out, but you get a little progress keeper with the yarn. As always, we get a themed lavender sachet. So there's the Vintage Whimsy. And there's Miss Tiggy Winkle. She's so cute, isn't she? I've got so many of these lying around the house. I'll just sit down and I'll go, there's a lavender sachet nearby. And the girls love them. They're always pinching them. I think Katherine's got 2 or 3 in her room. Emily's probably got a couple in her room, because I get them with every delivery nearly, and I just love them so much. And also I got some mini, they look quite similar. I think they might have come from both the same dye bath. So these are, I can't remember, they're 5 or 10 gram minis. They find their way into my blanket bag. So I haven't worked on it for a little while, but I do have a Cozy Memories blanket on the go, and all of my little minis go in the bag for that, to be used either for that one, or if when I finished, once it's big enough, I could move on to a different scrappy blanket. And also, which is a really cute little extra, was this really cute little bag. And it's Mrs. Tiggy Winkle's laundry. It would work as a really nice little notions pouch. So if you took the peg off it, it is drawstring. So you could keep a pair of scissors in there, or some stitch markers, and it would hold closed quite nicely with that little peg. Actually, it's so cute. I love it so much. I did have to argue to keep hold of that, because they thought it was something for their toys. Like, no, it's for me, and you get tea as well. I'm getting a lovely little collection of this, and I haven't had a herbal tea in a little while, and I don't know why. It's not like I don't like it anymore. I've just not been in the mood for it, I suppose. This bag did have a chocolate in it. I ate that like as soon as I saw it. Because I'm a pig. I know, because in our house, if you don't eat chocolate quick, you don't get to eat it. So one thing that did strike me when opening this package was Simon had already picked up on this. So he knows that I get 2 skeins a month from Andy. So he expects the package, he leaves it on the table, so it's the first thing I see when I get in. And yeah, this time he was like, have you been buying again? And I'm like, well, of course, it's my subscriptions. You've been buying extra, haven't you? I'm like, no, I haven't. And there was a lovely birthday card in there, and I was so surprised that Andy and Angela had remembered it was my birthday and had sent a little extra as a present. So it's really so thoughtful. It blew me away, actually, because I'll get to it properly later, but I have actually said to Simon and the girls, I didn't want a present this year. We're going to go on a day trip, and that's tomorrow. So I'll tell you. So this is Purple Pop. Look at those colours. Oh, these colours are amazing. Oh, they're amazing. Thank you. I need to decide what to make with these now. Out of all the many things. But I love the fact that we've got a cut, sort of a tonal with a multicoloured one. So they will work together really nicely. I just need to decide how I'm going to put them together. So there's that. And then there's my subscriptions. So I did not buy anything extra, as tempting as it always is. Every time I go on there, I'm like, no, I have to stick to my budget. Because if I don't stick to my budget, A, I will end up with even more yarn that I'm going to struggle to use. And B, well, I kind of have to pay my bills. I'll get into trouble if I don't. So anyway, this is the Vintage Whimsy Fairy Bud yarn. And it's so pretty. I love this colour. Katherine loved it too. And I said she can't dive into my hand-dyed stash until she's finished the project that she's on. She's barely even halfway through a ball of DK, and she's been knitting on it for 3-4 weeks now. So no, she doesn't get. I have said she can dip into it when she's ready to start another project, but she has to finish one first. I should follow that advice, really, shouldn't I? But I just have visions of her falling in love with one of my yarns, stealing it for herself to make herself something, and then it not being finished and my yarn going to waste in her bedroom. That is why. Not because I'm a mean mummy who won't share her yarn. This is the Tale of Mrs. Tiggywinkle, and I love that colour too. I need to start making some hats and things, don't I? I keep looking at the Musselburgh hat. There's so many people out there making them, and they look like on-the-go knitting. They really do look like on-the-go knitting. So I'm really tempted to, once I've got a couple of other pairs of socks, because the next socks after those ones that I'm making for MLA are my DK socks, because Simon says his DK socks are really nice and comfy, and I want to wear mine, and mine are still as a skein of yarn. So that is me. I'm finished. This is going to be so long. I'm so sorry. I hope at some point you've paused and gone and made yourself a cup of tea. I know when I'm watching videos on YouTube, I do end up, I will start it while I'm making breakfast, and then I'll come out of it, and then I might watch a little bit on my lunch break, and then I'll come out of it, and then I'll watch a bit more when I come home from work, and I start cooking dinner and do some washing up. It can sometimes take me all day to watch one video, and sometimes those videos aren't even that long. There's one, I watch Needles at the Ready, and their videos are often 2 hours long. It can take me a week to watch one of those sometimes, depending on how much time I actually get to sit and watch YouTube for myself. So yeah, so projects coming up. What am I going to be working on? So I've already discussed my Abigail dress is worked on for a few days, and my shawl project, which is over there somewhere. I know where it is. That one I'll be working on for almost a week. So first will be my MCAL. So if I'm up to date with that, I'll be working on the other project. But by then I should have had part 3. So I could be working on part 3 for some of those days. And I have my Winter Wonderland that I'll be working on, and then it'll be my podcast. So next time might not be quite so long. So tomorrow I'm being taken to Iam for a 3-mile hike, apparently. And a visit to a museum about, so Iam is famous for, in the UK anyway, as it's called the Plague Village. So back in the days of the plague, the whole town sealed itself in, basically, to prevent plague from spreading outside of the walls of the city, to prevent it from spreading too far. I mean, the plague destroyed quite a lot of the population when it went through the country. But they did their bit. So there's a museum about that, and apparently there is an extra surprise if there's time at the end of the day. So I really hope that means there's a yarn shop that I can visit. It's probably not a yarn shop because I can't see Simon actively encouraging me to buy yarn. So that is me. I will try not to let it be another 4 weeks till the next one, because this has just gone on and on and on. Simon has to go get Katherine from Girl Guides in a minute. So I shall see you all again soon. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all safe, and I hope you all have a lovely time with your crafting. Goodbye.